what is Spinozaism to me? It's a form of non-dualism to me. It's a way of thinking about relationships between things as an ontology rather than the things themselves. So, for instance, the self, who I am, me as a person, as an identity, I think in a Cartesian or a dualistic framework that you think of yourself as an entity with duration, as a permanence, and that you have effects in the world. And in this kind of model, then something like gender, male or female, is something that's deep within you, and it comes out. So I as self am male, I am white, maybe I am, all of these kind of things that we've later decided are racialized. But if you think of the self as an assemblage, as a relation, which is what Spinoza does, is that I am a set of relations. My thoughts are a set of relations. When I come into contact with an exteriority, with other sets of relations, I change. Who I am changes. In one context, you're one person, and another, you're another. That's kind of the idea of gender fluidity, is that gender really is impacted. And then, aside from gender, let's talk about, for instance, the mind. I think that the mind is a distributed system. I believe in, I have a master's degree in educational technology. I studied a lot of fucking cognitive science. But I believe in theories of situated learning and distributed learning. It's like cognition, it doesn't happen up here. Lev showed us that. It happens as a relationship between me and my environment. When you go to a place, when you go to a new culture, you're pulled into it. If you're open, if you can be affected by that culture, new forces, new relationships come into you. So original thinking doesn't come from within, it comes from without. It's, in a Spinozan thing, Spinozan Nietzsche of Deleuze, I'm sorry. Once I read something he's calling power, the will to power, puissance, is the power to affect and be affected. And that's always stayed with me. That reminds me very much of these concepts of yin and yang. The power to be affected. So it's not only our power over, something that, we would call a masculine power or a young power, but the power to be open to, the power to be receptivity, which is a power that we have assigned only. Alles goed, hey sweetie. The power to be affected, to be open to. That's what we've assigned femininity. It's almost like we have taken yin and yang and decided that each sex represented one or the other. But so if you look back at my explorations of gender, I opened myself up to different genders in a lesbian spaces, in Burning Man spaces, in Harbin New Age spaces, dance. That was my trajectory of opening up to these different conceptions of gender and bringing them with me from milieu to milieu.